Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, everyone had a good weekend. Um, I did. I had a fairly good weekend. Little bit taxing on Saturday, but Sunday went really good come the afternoon. Um, and then some ideas for shows hit me, and this week I'll be doing three in particular, four really, but three in particular that um, I think you guys will find interesting, if nothing else. And I'll give you a rundown of what that is. Sinuses are a problem today, so excuse me. Um, so welcome everybody thank you for coming in. So today we're going to be talking about the wineskin parable, except I have a little bit of a different take than most people might. And then on Wednesday, I have a show called the Deborah Option. The Deborah Option. And then on Friday will be What Can the Dead Do? So if you want to put in your calendar those shows, feel free to do that. The Deborah Option and What Can the Dead Do? Okay. What? Not quite sure what that means. So, wineskins. So what we're going to be talking about today I'll tell you this, it gave me a little bit of a revelation about this whole passage, okay? And it's in Mark 2, specifically in verse 22. But I want to have you understand the context of what's going on here. So I'm going to read all the way back from 18 and to the end, and then you're going to tell me. We'll go through that, but you guys can chime in. Let me know what you think about what's going on here. Okay. This is questions about fasting, and so the disciples came. They were now, mind you, John's disciples and the Pharisees were often fasting. Some people came to Jesus and asked, "Why don't your disciples fast like John's disciples and those of the Pharisees?" Jesus replied, "How can the guests of the bridegroom fast while he is with them? As long as he is with them, they cannot fast. But the time will come when the bridegroom will be taken from them, then they will fast. No one sews a new patch of unshrunk cloth on an old garment. If he does, the new piece will pull away from the old, and the worst tear will result. And no one pours new wine into old wineskin. If he does, the wines will burst the skin, and both wine and wineskin will be ruined. Instead, new wine is poured into new wineskins." Now, a lot of people pull that apart, and they take that section and they run with it. And the thing he tried to show me was something that was very, very obvious. I had not seen until, sometimes he'll highlight stuff for you. The thing about wine and wineskins, if he's requiring or saying that you can't put new wine in old wineskin, and he's creating new wine, and we are old wineskins. He can't really do much with the new wine. by pouring it into us. It'll be a waste. But he has asked us to be rid of the old wineskin so he can be making us new wineskins to hold a new wine. The same way you can't mix and match something. You have to have it all or nothing, right? That's the point. All or nothing to make this work. A lot of us go through Christianity, or at least following God, with this concept that we have to, or he will use, you. As you come to him, he will use what talents you have, what gifts you have. We've been told that a lot. That's all over the church. So what I'm about to say may be contrary to what you've been hearing. And again, what you hear here, not gold, take it to the author. I always tell you that. Take it to the author. Take it to the author. Don't leave it with me. Take it with the author. I'll use myself as an example. I have never thought of myself as a person that was meant to be in front of a camera talking to people. I could look through all of my talents. That was not one of them. That was never going to be one of them. There was no way you could look at my history and say, my talent, God, you can use this talent. Let me be the one speaking. No. That was one he instilled. Telling you now, that was not mine. When I decided to give up my plans, in other words, put my old wineskin down, it was new wineskin with new wine. You know what new is? New has no resemblance in quality and longevity to the old. It may kind of look like it in type, but it has zero to do with the old. One, it's not the old. Way more useful. It'll last longer. And you can put newer things in it, right? New gifts. A new calling. A calling that was not of your own making. Okay? So when people say, oh, I knew this from when I was young, this is what I was supposed to be doing. And then you ask them, how did you know? It's always something I've wanted to do. Listen to that statement. It's always something I wanted to do. That's how I know it's my calling. So is it your calling from God, or is it your calling because you want to do it? You know how many times I have fought doing something because I didn't think it was something I'm supposed to be doing? That's not me. Nope. Try somebody else. No. We love doing that. We love putting this, I know what's best and I know me better than anyone else. I'm telling you, that's not something I would do. I will not be doing that. Moses was not, I repeat, was not interested in doing what he was eventually called to do. Hardly any of the Old Testament guys were interested in doing what they were called to do. And some of them weren't even built for it. Look at David. If you saw David and thought to yourself, oh, yeah, that's a fighter. That's a fighter. No, you wouldn't think that's a fighter at all. In fact, what you would think is like, why is that guy, that measly little scrawny guy, going out? What? You can't put that kind of armor on that. Come on, man. He's not built for that. A lot of the times, our calling will not be based on our known abilities. A lot of the times, our calling will not be based on our known abilities. What's up, Anthony? He is notorious for putting you in places that you may not be ready for. So is it really your talent that he's looking for? Is he really using your talent? Or is he multiplying and adding more when you decide to give up what you think you know? A lot of us have been led to believe that what we want from our youth is what we'll be doing as an adult, and that is for God's glory. The church has drilled that into people. They will ask kids, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do for the king? What do you want? Oh, you sing? We're going to put you to sing for God. What if they're not supposed to? What if that singing is not for the church? It's not for everyone. It's for them. What if it's not to hand out to people? Why is it that the church is so concerned about people's gifts, but never finding out if God wants that gift used? How come we never find that out? Do you ever hear preachers today telling folks to find out from God if they have an untouched talent that he wants to evoke? No. They tell people, use your talents for God. But it's whatever talents you have, use it for God. You've heard that before? They are telling you to decide for God how your talents are going to be used. They never refer you to the person divvying out the use of the talents. Whatever you do, bring it. I'm not saying the talents are bad. I'm not saying the talents can't be used. I am telling you, you have to aim your talents. And the only person that can aim that talent is the one that has to use the talent, and the one for whom you're trying to use it. Okay, let's put it something simpler. I know how to throw a football. I'm really good at throwing the football. Heck, I can throw a football and squish a gnat on the goalpost from 50 yards out. And that was my intention. That's how good I can throw the football. But I'm also 6'5", 240 pounds. And I'm really fast. And I got really good juking skills. The coach comes to me one day and the coach says, hey, you know, that size of yours, it'll come in handy on this team. And then you look at the coach and says, I know, I can really throw the ball. I'd make a great quarterback. And the coach says, I realize you can throw the ball, but we have a quarterback. And then you interrupt him and says, no, 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 you don't understand. I can throw that ball 50 yards and hit a net on that goalpost. Any route you send someone, I can get them. And the coach starts again, but I have a quarterback. And you said, no, no, you obviously don't understand, coach. Okay. I know you know the team and you know what positions you have to fill. I get that. And you also are a really good talent scout. I get all that. But you just don't understand how good of a quarterback I am. I've been good at being a quarterback since I was young. My mom's even told me I'd make a great quarterback. And the coach is just waiting for you to shut up so he can tell you, yeah, but you have the height, speed, and weight to be an amazing tight end. And since you know exactly where the ball is going to be placed at any point in time, you know exactly what route to run, and I need a good tight end. You would fit that mold. And you know what? I will give you all the tools to learn to be a great tight end. And trust me, you will be the most amazing tight end because you have every bit of the quality a tight end needs. But because of your history with your mom and your family and everybody else telling you that you are going to be a great QB, you say, well, if I'm not going to be a QB, I'm not joining the team. That's how we treat. That's how we treat God's gifts. See, a lot of us, we want to keep bringing our old wineskin with us on what we think we bring. And he's trying to put new wine in and it won't hold. And you are wasting wine and you're going to burst open. You wonder why Christians fizzle out and leave the church. Because it's not plausible or feasible or possible to hold the gifts that God is going to put in you if you're trying to put it in your old you that's always rebelling and is weak. It's not going to happen. He can't use old wineskins. He's not going to graft something new into an old tattered cloth. He's not in the business of ruining. He's in the business of replacing. He's in the business of replacing. I cannot help the team that I say I love if I go in there with a preconceived mission on my mind to think I am the only one on the team that can do what I'm doing. Or the team will need me in the position I choose. When you have a head coach, the head coach has been doing this for 50 plus years. Let's just say that. You're a freshman. What do you know about the team? Nothing. What do you know about the teams that are coming on the schedule? Nothing. What do you know about who the current QB is? Nothing. What do you know about the tight end? What do you know about anybody on the team? Nothing. The coach, though, the coach knows every member on that team. He also knows where he is lacking on the team. And he's also looking at you thinking, man, all right. And even if we need a backup QB, but only when he needs a backup QB. Understand this. The church has gone so far from where its moorings are, and the ship is beginning to sink. And nobody seemingly wants to jump ship. They want to go down with it. The church has become, and I do say the church, the current day church, not the buildings, the church. Leaders and all. We have put the preacher in the position of what the Catholics call the priest, the Pope. The modern day preacher in today's Christian church is a pope. He can do no wrong. He knows everything. You only listen to what he says. He knows it. He knows about. I don't need to read it. That's what he's for. I don't need to talk to God. That's what he's for. And so what he's doing now, he's pulling you away. Just like, okay, so people like William Tyndale died because of trying to get the word to people that were told they shouldn't have it. He printed the word for common people that were aching to read it for themselves and not just listen to the papacy. Today, you have people clamoring to get back to the papacy, but calling it the modern day church. They want no relationship with God. They just want to hear from a man to tell them what to do, how to act, and be good to go. You're basically, I want you to understand what you're basically telling God is that Jesus died for nothing. I don't need that bridge. I don't need Jesus. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go do my check mark on my Sunday and Sunday nights and Wednesdays. I'm good to go. I don't need to talk to God. You know what? God will talk to me through the preacher. You mean the new pope? He removed all of that. Okay, so the way the temple used to work was the outer court, inner court, holy of holies, right? And when he came and died, he removed all of that. So you can enter straight into the Holy of Holies and communicate with God without the need for a priest. If we are then looking at him and saying, no, you don't understand, we need a preacher in front of us. Every Sunday we have to go and listen to a preacher, or otherwise I can't make it to heaven. A teacher, or we call them preachers, is there to foster your relationship to God, not to be the relationship to God. I'm going to say that again. A pastor or a teacher is not there to be your relationship with God. He is there to foster your relationship with God. Any pastor or preacher or teacher, whatever you want to call them, that's asserting himself as your relational bridge to God, that's heresy. I want you to understand that is heresy. If he is the only one that can divulge God's will, that's heresy. Like I said, I'm going to be saying some stuff that you may not agree with, but take it to the author. Take it to the author. I am convinced that the more time goes on and things are starting to occur on earth here with and that's a problem, Dina. That's a problem. That is, I'm telling you now, that's a problem. I want you to listen to what you just say it out loud in your head, what you just typed. Just say it out loud. I'm not saying that pastors and preachers are not a good thing. The position itself is good. The position itself is abused, though. And I get that you have a hard time understanding it, which is why you don't just limit yourself to reading alone. A key part of understanding a book is not just the book itself. Did the person writing the book have any kind of authority to write the book? I have to learn something about the author. Did that author know anything about what he was talking about? Otherwise, I'd be reading a book and I'd be leaving the book just as dumb as I went into it. You have a direct line to the author of the book you don't understand. A straight up and down line to the author of the book you don't understand. If you ever read the book in any kind, here's a challenge for you, Dina. Okay, here's a challenge for you. Try this. Just try this once. Just try it once. If you have a quiet time where you sit and read, if you have a place where a time of day where you just sit back and open the book, and but it's really confusing for you. You're reading stuff and it's all like, it's really not making sense to you. I can understand. Do this before you start reading at all. Do this one thing before you start reading. Okay? You pray and tell him, I do not understand what is going on in this book. One, being frank. And you tell him, if I'm going to understand anything in this book, you who wrote it, you're going to have to break it down for me. I need you to break it down for me so I understand, so I can get a better idea of who you are saying you are through this book. And if who you are is in this book, reveal yourself. No. I didn't say ask for wisdom. There's a big difference. There's a big difference, okay? You ask him not to make you wise. You ask him to make you understand what is going on in the book. It's not about the wisdom that you get. It's not about that. Wisdom comes, and you seek wisdom. Yes, seek it. But when you are in the position you're in right now, Dina, you have to invoke him over your reading. You have to invoke him over what you're doing. He has to be the only one to make it clear to you, because he wrote the book. A preacher ain't gonna do that for you. I'm sorry, they're not. They're not supposed to. That's not what they're built for. They might introduce you to it. They might show you. They might talk about it. But you always need to go back and reference what you heard to what he said. And if you don't know what he said or can't understand it in the book, you have to ask him what he said. You have the line to ask him directly. Did you say this? Is this something that you actually said? Say we're concerned about whether or not the Bible was touched by man. Okay? Let's say we're concerned that the Bible was man-made and we can't trust anything because it's all lies. Okay, let's just say that's true. Let us say that the entire, this is hypothetical. Let's just say everything in the Bible is touched and crazy and man put his own hand on it and it was a white supremacy, whatever you want to put it as. Do you know that all of that can be overridden by the author? And then you have to ask yourself, if you think that is the case with the Bible, then you probably don't believe that God is who he says he is either. That sounds like a personal problem. Pick that up also with the author. He took all our excuses out. When he said man will be without excuse, it's more than just hearing. You have no excuse to not talk to God. You ain't never gonna find a more open door But what the church, modern day church, is trying to do is close that door, put a sentry in front of it, and then the person behind the door will tell you, hey, come on, tell that person out there what I think is going to happen. But I want, no, I'll tell you what's behind the door. Don't worry about coming behind the door. They want to stand guard. The truth is, they're not even remotely close. If they're doing that, they're not even close to the actual book, nor are they close to the author. Okay? This will link into the Friday show about what can dead men do. But I'll go back to my example about how I got here. My whole life, I thought, okay, it'll be about work, making money, ends meet, providing. That's it. That's the entirety of my life. Go to church, you do your good deeds in the day, in the week. Someone needs help, you help them. That's the extent of Christianity. That's not the extent of Christianity. That's not even the extent of the relationship. If my steps are ordered, I have to receive my orders. If there's a path being made for me, I have to have someone put me on the path. If there is a life that is created outside of this life, I have to have someone put me in that life. We always think that we are necessary for this journey. I'll say it again. We think somehow we are necessary for this journey. We are. Meaning, what I have to offer is necessary for this journey. No. Look, I'm only talking from experience. I am not necessary for the journey, obviously, because I thought my journey included something completely opposite to where I'm at now. So in my world, what I thought was necessary for the journey, he doesn't even use. He does not even use. In fact, it's a whole nother person. A whole nother person. New life, new wineskin, new talents. You'd be amazed at what he'll do for you when you just give up what you think you bring to the table. When you give all that up, you'll be amazing how much we've been hoarding. And he has to go through and toss. You don't, nope. In fact, here, out, all of it. Now, new. All right. So what you're going to be doing is you are going to be doing, and you're like, whoa, what? But I've never done that before. I know you've never done that before. I know exactly what you've never done before. But I'm telling you, this is a new life, which means you got new things. Be excited. It's all new. Look at it this way. If it's all new, right, you don't have a history of failure with it. If it's all new, you have zero history of failure. And if it was never yours to fail with, it's someone else's to succeed with. You get it? You see how easy? You see how much less of a burden you have to carry now? You get why he said his yoke is easy? You ain't really got to do a whole lot. You got to sit back and let him do what he's got to do through. Your mortal coil will be here. He's using your mortal coil for whatever he has planned. But what drives your mortal coil, your spirit, he is replacing. To be him. His hands, his feet. I have to get out the way. I have to get out the way. Get out the way. Die to self. Die to what I want. Die to what I think I'm bringing to the table. Die to the whole me being a QB thing and be the tight end. Be the tight end. Heck, if he needs me to be a blocking tight end, I may not even be a catching tight end. But the coach will decide that, not me. Not me. If your pastor or teacher or whatever you call it is dictating your gifts, he's trying to be God. And you are not putting God in his rightful place. You are keeping man where God should be. I would suggest you probably not do that. I would suggest that you probably just don't do that. Let God decide what he's going to do with you. Let him decide that. Trust me, he'll make it abundantly clear. And sometimes it's so stinking uncomfortable, and you're looking at it like that. No, what? No, I've never done that before. No, that couldn't be. Nah, he's joking. He's not joking. Look at Saul, who became Paul. He really thought he was doing everything for the kingdom. He really thought he was doing stuff for God. I'll kill all these so-called Christians. That's what he really genuinely thought he was doing what he's supposed to be doing. And eventually he had to be shut all the way down. Rebooted. He had to be taken out. You name and everything. The new that he's trying to do cannot be put in old. Both will perish. The gift he wants to instill and what he has to get done will not get done, and you will end up fizzling out. Do not attempt to do anything in yourself. Pick up the new wineskin, live the new life, and let him fill new wine. You'll be amazed at how awesome it is and how easy it'll become. Talk to him. That's what quiet time is for. He has a purpose. He has a plan. He has a reason behind all that he's doing. But he can't do it if you're in the way. And if you're holding on to the old, he's not going to work there. He just isn't. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys today. It's been on my heart for a bit this weekend. I put a link to the Facebook, to the YouTube channel. If you guys are on Fair Media, to follow the YouTube channel. Moses didn't know what he was going to do. Abraham, none of them. None of them. All had an excuse. And some of them were so cocky. They thought they were going to be doing things that they would never do. Like Peter. Peter was so self-absorbed about what he wasn't going to do. God did. You don't know what you're talking about. Come on. Me? You know who you're talking to? You're talking to Peter. Like the Peter. Jesus, look. Okay, look. I know you probably know people. And okay, I know that. You might think you called me, I know. But me? Deny you? You obviously don't know me. You don't know me. I'd never do that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But it happened. But it happened. That's what happens when you function in the things that you bring to the table. That's what happens when you function in the things that you bring to the table. He decides this, not you. And if you really are trusting him, you really do believe that he has his kingdom at heart. It's not even your best intent. It's not even your best at heart. It's not even about him having your best at heart. It's about him having his kingdom to pursue at heart and establishing his kingdom here through you. Those who are called, remember, this works for the good of those who are called. It's not that he's working out your good. Things are working out for the good, but not for your good. His kingdom. Get the hierarchy right. You're not doing this so your life will be easy. You're not doing this so your life will be better. You're doing this so that the kingdom will be furthered. There's a big difference. It's not for you to be happy. It's not for you to, it's none of that. None of that. Those are side effects to you following his will. Side effects. Side effects. Anyway, speak to the author, get the download, get your dispatch papers, and go. Get your dispatch papers and go. He's got a plan. But you may not like it. You're not called to like it. You're called to do it. You're called to do it. Okay. Anyway, we'll be back this afternoon on Too Strong. Be sure to join that, dude. We'll be kind of talking about something very heavy. Wisdom is calling to you from the streets. Please, 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 please find wisdom. Y'all have a great rest of the day.